This is what we use to protect our elected men and women of Congress. We who have the no-fail mission, and she Hollywoodized it. She wanted to punch the president of the United States, and she couldn't wait for it. I've said since day one that her and the mayor of D.C., Bowser, had gotten together and elected to stage this political act so they would have the narrative to carry out an execution of Donald Trump. And they did it baselessly with the Unselect Committee. But now, as you just heard on that Tucker interview you played, Chief Sund, shocking that the truth didn't get out on his interview about the delay in the National Guard. And he said it wasn't the military. It was his boss, Pelosi. And the law required her to what the law required her. This is why she's important. Must have the Speaker of the House and the mayor ask for the National Guard. Otherwise, it's illegal. And they didn't.
So can you please rewind the clock? And your time is valuable. I don't want you to have to repeat yourself, but can you please give us a play-by-play of what you offered? Because you were the one who was making the offer. You know, you were the man in the room, where it happens. What did Donald Trump offer on the morning of January 6th?
Yeah, so I was chief of staff at the Department of Defense at the time, and he actually offered it 2 days before January 6th. We were in the Oval Office, me, SecDef, chairman, and a couple other people.
Wow, Kash Patel, such an important figure here because this guy literally worked at the time, right? So 2 days prior, Donald Trump wanted the National Guard. 2 days prior. I bet you everybody I've ever spoken to, they don't even know none of this stuff, man. They don't even care about none of this stuff. This is the stuff that we should be caring about.
We're talking about some sensitive operations unrelated to anything here. And President Trump said, hey, look, I've seen that there's a lot of people that are going to be in and around January 6th, not just in D.C., but around the country. What are we doing to offer security? And of course, I'm paraphrasing. And I said, sir, well, we have the National Guard. He said, okay, well, I'm authorizing up to 10 to 20,000. And the reason he did that, because he preemptively had the foresight to know in case something happens, he doesn't want to have to be the one put in the position to say, I made a bad national security decision and didn't authorize it. The Constitution and the Supreme Court have a two-part test. President has to authorize National Guard. Step one. Step two, the local governor or mayor, since it's DC in this instance, or head of law enforcement, Nancy Pelosi, has to request the National Guard after the authorization. It's posse comitatus, it's Supreme Court law, because our founding fathers don't want uniformed military personnel to occupy Washington, D.C. or anywhere else. Makes total sense. Well, after that, 2 days before January 6th, I sent my team to both Pelosi and Bowser in person. We can offer you up to 10, maybe 20,000 National Guard, but you guys know you have to tell us you want it. We can't mobilize, we can't equip, we can't man up until you sell me, go. And they wrote, now the letter's out there. Mayor Bowser's letter is out there where she says, I declined. The Capitol Police timeline specifically states they went to Nancy Pelosi upon request of the Department of Defense for National Guard. And she said, nope. So that's why it didn't deploy. And I want to tell you the story about January 6th, which I really haven't told much.
Please.
The day of when the riot and everything was going on outside, of course, now Pelosi's calling us, me, SecDef, screaming, why isn't the National Guard here? And then we were like, wait a second. So are you authorizing it? Okay, authorized. Okay, where are they? As if I can just grow 10,000 Americans who are teachers, doctors, cops, lawyers, parents. I have to fly them in, kit them up, arm them, train them, equip them, then deploy them through law enforcement because they're an accompaniment to law enforcement. They're not a military. To august security operations. We did it. Check this out. It was the fastest cold start of the United States military since World War II. That's how fast we moved. But Nancy Pelosi's concern on that day before the deployment of the National Guard was, when are we going to be able to get back in the hall so that congressional food services can be restored so that the House of Representatives can eat? I'm not kidding. She said that to me in the SecDef and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
No.
Yeah. And I was like, ma'am, our security concerns are you, the personnel, and the people outside. Your Lunchable box is not our security concern.
That is wild. That is wild. To know that that's what she was worried about the most.